We're here at the 2023 AWSI trade show checking out the new 2024 gear. I'm here with Clinton from AirRush and AK, and we're going to check out some of the wings right now. You guys have got some new stuff we're going to check out.
Yeah, we got some really exciting new stuff. So from our side, probably the most exciting thing on the wing side is the new Air Team from Freewing. So that's working with our Hookkeeper high pressure leading edge, which is a woven ultra PE leading edge. And the concept behind the Air Team was, building a product that's wave riding, downwinding, freestyling, really something that is inherently what all of our riders will be using. And it's a showcase for our new technology. So using the ultra PE leading edge, and then an industry first for us would be what we call the Ultra X, where we have a laminated canopy. And that laminated canopy is like an X laminate of Ultra PE there, and then it has a film, and then it has a woven base structure. So it's really a great combination of durability and stiffness, and it really creates something that even if you do manage to put your foil right through it, the Ultra PE ripstop will save the canopy. But overall, just a lot more durable in day-to-day use. So it's great for waves, it's great for freestyle. And in terms of using the Hookkeeper, you're reducing the weight, so you can run a narrower leading edge. And again, you're running high pressure, so these will run anything up to 16 PSI. So
that's high.
Really stiff and really responsive. We also have our modular handle system. So it's we've found a real trend of customers. Some want soft handle, some want hard handle, some want a full boom. So it really is a great platform for us to build the various options in place.
What do you think the advantages of the soft handle are over a more rigid handle?
I mean, for us, it's the simplicity. For a lot of riders who are downwinding, wave riding, they just want a simple handle. For the freestyle riders who prefer it, is from an impact side. If they're landing on the wing, it never damages their board, it never damages them. And the other interesting thing is our handle, we call it the firm flex handle. That is actually a molded part that's so it's not a traditional soft handle at all. It has a molded internal construction with anti-twist component. So you really have the combination of a stiff and soft handle at the same time. Yeah, and that is the new Air Team. Another really interesting wing for us is something in its second iteration. This is the Freewing Go, and the concept for us with the Go was really making a lower aspect wing that's extremely easy to use, and for getting people on the water. That was the original idea, but it really became an extremely popular wing because it has a more compact geometry, so it's very easy to throw around. It's even popular with some of the freestyle riders, and then as you get to the bigger sizes, it's pretty powerful. So it's got great low end. It's like more of a full canopy. So having something, people are getting into it, looking for a fuller canopy, and then also for like as your second wing for very light wind, the 6.5 for its size is extremely powerful, and really differentiates the models. And that sits kind of our Air sits between the Air Team and the Go in terms of a product range.
Yeah. For guys that are getting into using the new downwind boards for like their light wind riding, which would be their best go-to wing for like light winds?
I mean, for me, depending, it would be a combination of your budget and your skill level. Just seeing what, like if you really just want to get going for the smallest wing possible, then I would say the Go is really grunchy, really full wing. But then the Air Team gives you more of a performance upgrade in terms of that.
So what were the challenges of designing wings around with the new Hookkeeper material?
I mean, we've been working with the Hookkeeper material for around 2.5 to 3 years, and that's been we've worked extensively in the Ultra PE materials. We started with Dyneema, we worked with the Lula, we worked with Hookkeeper, and the materials all have their strengths and weaknesses, but the challenge for us is understanding the specific fabric that you're using, and how to orient the panels that you get a very, very stable product. And in terms of the seams, how you do the seaming, how you do the closures. The benefits of the way the hook keeper is built is because it's a woven material. Your seam holding is good, so you can use more traditional repair methods, more traditional assembly. And then, with you using a laminate, then you get a stiffer fabric, but then you have different challenges around seaming. So it really depends on the specific demands.
Okay, cool. And you're quite involved with the AK R&D, which is the foil. Most of the foils are branded under AK.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the boards are split between AirRush and
So for
Starboard
us,
now?
AirRush is our kiteboarding brand.
Okay.
And then for us, AK is really our crossover brand. So for us, it kind of lives in a world of trying to create crossover products, and keep a relatively simple line that appeals to the customer who's really more of a waterman than a specialist.
Yeah.
And that's been the concept behind the foils. And whereas Starboard's heritage is a lot from the windsurfing side, with AK, a lot of our heritage is coming from surf, from kite, and leading into foil from there.
Okay, cool. Do you want to take a look at some of the foils?
Yeah, cool. Let me just put these back. Let me just. Will, do you mind just tethering these up? I'm just trying to do a product overview. Thanks, mate. Cool. Do some light adjustment.
Yeah.
So in terms of new foils, should I just go for it?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of new foils, quite a lot of changes. Our range is split into basically 3 foils: Trek, Tracer, Plasma. So lower aspect, medium aspect, higher aspect. And that's been the fundamentals of the range for some time. What's new for us for this year is the Tracer and also our fuselage connection. So what you can see, we've got a new taper lock system. This is a completely fresh new product. We have a new ultra high modulus hollow core carbon mast. So the challenge for us there was to try to keep the 16mm mast, so a narrow mast, and run it as stiff as possible. So we really made a huge amount of effort to keep a balance of weight stiffness, and still at a relatively reasonable price for a carbon mast. So if you have a look at that, we call it the Carbon Plus, and that's a very, very interesting product. If you have a look at the extensive upgrades on the Tracer, is we've gone to like a full, what we call a blended wing design, where the wing is blended into the fuselage, and we wanted to get this extremely stiff connection onto the mast itself. So from going away to just getting the absolute best connection that we could have, and that's led to evolving the tail wing system and all new G10 tail wings as well. So that's been a really big change for us. And that is our mid aspect. And then if you move across to our higher aspect, then we have the new plasmas. And these are the sizes that we bring to market right now are the 2000 and the 1600. But there you're going to a variable aspect ratio, but all generally in the high aspect space. And again, that takes your blended wing design, for us that full singular connection. And as we were going towards the higher aspect wings, we did a huge amount of work on the mast to make sure that we could still have a fast mast that is stiff enough to use on the high aspect wings. Again, a very interesting evolution for us, and that is the plasma.
Yeah. What size mast do you like to ride when you're riding first?
For me personally, we developed a new 78, and for me that's kind of a magic size for what I do. Like from a surf foiling side, I think the 78's a really, really good size for more maneuver orientated riding, and then for an 85 would be the second size. And we really found that was the general consensus between the 78 and the 85 as a core user group.
Yeah. So have you guys pretty much transitioned 100% to carbon mast now, or
no? We still have a great aluminium mast that we've had for had really good feedback on. So we for example, we offer the traces in the aluminium mast and in the carbon mast, and the compatibility. We also still have reverse compatibility with our older parts.
Yeah. Would you say that carbon is completely taking over, like percentage-wise, for sales, though? Like,
no, I don't. I mean, for us, like having a blended market overall, I do think, as people become more settled and know what they want, they're more inclined to buy the carbon mast. As everything comes more into play. So, but I do still think it's, for me, a lot of it's like the bicycle concept where carbon's a great. But where carbon really works is in this application in ultra high modulus construction, with the hollow core, like we feel like that technology is good. And so we only actually offer a single, carbon mast technology because of the way the foils are going to much higher aspect. And I think that's a lot more effective to just have a single product. So.
Yeah, the new connection system looks really nice and stiff.
Yeah, so that whole connection for us is really an amazing step forward in terms of just getting like an absolutely perfect connection and really, building up this efficiency around there, and especially like as we're going to finer profiles, like just having as smooth a connection as possible and as little twist as possible. To get the like really great response.
Yeah, you're one of the few brands that has a very easy to adjust tailpiece with the angles here. What kind of tips would you have for people when it comes to fine tuning the angle of?
For us, it's really going to be the rider preferences in terms of the rider weight and also the specific board. So what you'll find is if you're using, say, a longer board with more weight in the nose, you might end up putting a little bit more angle of attack on the tail. And then if you want a faster foil, like if you just want to carry more speed, then you might remove some of the angle of attack. The nice thing with the system is it's relatively easy to adjust. So typically what I'd say is put a tool in your wetsuit, go out, try it, and see what works for you, because it's that simple to do that process.
Yeah, they look really nice.
Cool. You go through the boards, or?
Yeah, let's definitely take a look at some of the boards.
Yeah, so in terms of boards for this year, we have our typical approach of a three product quiver, and what we have is the compact, which is our freestyle board and freestyle orientated board and a compact outline. Then we have the phaser, which for us has been our go-to all-round board for a number of years, and that we just continue to refine it. So I think for me, the phaser sitting at the center of the range, where the smaller sizes are surf foil crossover into wing, and the smaller sizes are also kite compatible. And then you go into your mid sizes, which are more wing specific, and then your larger sizes, which cross over from wing into SUP. So it's an interesting range from that perspective.
You guys offer that in two different constructions. What in the larger sizes? What would be the advantage of having, like, if you had I've got the 110 liter in the lightweight construction, and I love it.
For us, the two constructions are, in terms of having your active carbon and your Duratec. So the active carbon, you just get the reduced weight, and you get the additional stiffness. Whereas when you go to the Duratec, it's got a thicker skin, so it's more suitable if you're going to be sharing the board with the family, or it's going to be having a tougher life. I would have, opted for the Duratec.
Yeah.
So, and also there's a price benefit for running the Duratec.
Yeah, your lightweight construction is definitely a little bit lighter. A lot of the mass-produced boards are on the slightly heavier side. Do you think people can get away with a slightly larger volume board in the lighter weight?
I mean, I just think it's easier to, in terms of manageability. You can use a lighter board. It means you're a little bit more versatile in terms of having to deal with the heavier board. So that again, the phases, we've continued to evolve them. And in terms of shape, what we've done is we've pulled the tails in. That's a trend we found, ongoing. We've actually put a 1.5 degree rocker in it so that we're not shimming the boards anymore. So really got an effective trim out of them. And I just kept working on the release angles, because it's a team favorite. It's such an easy board to keep working on. So that for me is the center of the range is the phaser. And then from there, as if you move down more towards the pure freestyle space, this is the compact, and this is what we worked on with Xavi Core. He's one of the up-and-coming superstars of the sport. So as a rider, it's great to get his input. And generally, again, there we try to make a board that's still very, very user-friendly. We make it up to an 85 liter because we get a lot of customers who still want something shorter. But what you will see is the trend, the same with the compact, is it's actually got narrower, for the same given volume. So it's really become a little bit more of a performance board. But that's been the general market feedback. And again, like with that, you're reducing the swing weight, you're making the board very easy to throw around, and in the bigger sizes, it's just a lot easier to transport and deal with.
And you guys have a new Nomad board this year.
Yeah, that's been a couple of years in the making. So the thing with us for the Nomad is really started for us as like what could we do for the ultimate light wind board. When I grew up as a kid on a lake, and we just wait for puffs to come through, and we'd always want to get up on our windsurf boards and try to stay planing. And I think what's completely changed with winging and hydrofoiling is once you're up on foil, you can stay up on foil for a very, very long time.
Just a reminder for everybody that the yellow zone is for loading and unloading when you're in your car. There's been a white van parked at the curb for a couple of hours, so
should we
you guys
continue
could
or
please
wait?
move
I will
that
wait for Marina.
white van parked in front of the core and access booths. We'd super appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
All right, cool. Yeah, so like I said, with the Nomad, what we're trying to chase is a board that was also very easy to use off foil, so that it has glide. And then what we really found is this kind of gliding style of board, which gets you up onto foil very quickly. So you can really use a slightly smaller wing, which is what a lot of people were asking us to try to do. Like you can get up onto foil really quickly. You can get enough glide that even if you're using a slightly smaller foil, you can get up onto foil a bit quicker. And then once you're up on foil, really managing the length so that the board's easy to pump and it's easy to get going. And there you've really ending up with your track boxes pretty far forward. What this does is it manages the swing weight between the nose and the tail of the board. So the board's not really nose heavy. The way we've designed them is that pretty much if you take the center of the foil and you lift it up on the center of the foil, it'll balance the board out. So from a pumping side, we wanted to make a gliding board. We wanted to make a board that crossed over into downwinding, but still something that was compact enough to really pump. And really something that was super versatile. So you can, if you look at the testers, they use this for SUP, light wind winging, for downwinding and for surf foiling at the same time.
You get some pretty extreme conditions in South Africa, so you've probably had a chance to ride this in some pretty choppy conditions, and you've ridden the Phaser in some pretty choppy conditions. How would the stability of this 115 liter Nomad compare to, say, a 110 liter Phaser?
I mean, with them, because it's a much narrower design, you have the benefits of the early glide. But for me, when it gets windy, I would definitely suggest moving to a smaller board. But where this is great is the very light wind downwind conditions, like even light wind wing downwinders, because you've got so much glide, you can get up and going pretty easily, and you can stay up. Even the 135 or the 2000. And if you're using a small wing, you can actually get up onto foil and you can pump and stay up on foil and do small downwinders, in 15 to 18 knots, which is something that, nobody really considers. But I do feel that that's something we're going to see more access in large lakes, in smaller ocean swells and light winds, you'll really be able to downwind at the same time, just explore. So it's a very interesting segment of the market.
Yeah, so when people are choosing between the plasmas, so you make the 2000?
They'll make a 2000 and a 1600, and in the spring we'll be coming with a 1350 and a 1100 and a 850.
Okay, so for the extreme light winds, a guy my size would obviously go with the 2000.
How
about a guy your size?
So for me, I think the 1600 would be the go-to And I mean, I have used the 2000s in extremely light wind, but then of course you need to have the weight to be able to steer the foil and manage the foil. So typically I would pair the 115 with the 1600 for very, very light winds, and then from there go possibly all the way down to like 1000 in the traces, on the same board. And then for the heavier rider, I would suggest, saying starting with the 2000 and then going down to the 1300 tracer as it gets windier.
Yeah, and so you make they've got the 115. Is there a smaller size Nomad, or is that
smaller? Then there's a 90 liter as well. There's a 6.6 90 liter, that's a pretty small board, but for people who are very focused on winging and the lighter riders, that's also quite an interesting product. I definitely think the 115 is the core of the range. Yeah. And then the 135 is something that's a very, very stable platform. If you're going to spend a lot of time off foil, then you end up it's 7'6", which is still not long, for a board with that much volume. And it's got a huge amount of glide, and it's still a very stable platform. So I think they're very exciting combination. So for somebody who really wants to light wind wing, that's a perfect combo. And then if they want to get into downwind SUPing, that still gives them the right amount of volume and width in the bigger sizes. And then when you go to the 115, it's like the more advanced riders will be able to paddle them up on flat water. So there's a more performance option.
Okay, cool. They look really nice. And they're the one construction type. I'm imagining everyone that's lightweight.
So for us, all of these are running the active carbon construction.
Sweet.
Thanks. Any other questions?
No, it's a pretty impressive looking evolution of the lineup.
Yeah, it's really stoked to that. So,
what's the foiling scene been like in South Africa where you're at?
Oh, it's been really, really good. It's been the whole. I mean, downwinding's been a big thing, and just seeing like we've got two coasts, so you can downwind on either of the coasts, and it's a lot of very, very windy days. So we have a lot of days with 3-meter wings and 45 knots and crazy open swell where you just be flying down the face of the open ocean. So
that's some pretty small wing sizes. So what would be your go-to when you're going downwinding in those extreme conditions?
I mean, in Cape Town I have a 3 and a 4. Those are my 2 wings. Yeah. So we have like windy, nice not windy, and the 3 is windy and the 4 is not windy. Yeah. So I think that's for us the classic combination. Yeah.
Cool. So which is your go-to board when you go out in those conditions?
I mean, I pretty much, from a wing side, I use a Phaser 65 liter, and that's my wing board, and then I use a 46 liter Phaser for surf foiling. And that's my simple quiver, and that kind of takes me through very light winds, and then all the way to surf foiling. And then if it gets very windy, then the 46 is also a great small wing board as well. Yeah, so I think also another highlight product, for us is our new paddle hydration vest. And what this gives is a CE-approved vest with a full hydration system in it, and really look at the emergence of downwinding, the emergence of touring, and building a product that's very reliable and can offer the customer something for going on adventures really.
Yeah. How many different sizes does that come in?
So that comes in a full size curve. So in terms of going all the way from your small up to your extra large, so you should have your versatility of fit, and then also having the big front pouch. So for your tracking device, for your phone, whatever you need to put in. So we try to think of everything. We have some pretty gnarly conditions at home, so you need to have a vest that you can really rely on, and that's what we did with the Johnson.
Cool.